Hard not getting a little emotional when you see that song. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to hop on and go live for a little bit and talk about some of the experiences I had hanging out with the Osbournes back in the day. My dad gave me the Black Sabbath and Ozzy box set when I was like 16 years old, and so it was a big part of Ozzy was definitely a big part of like shaping me musically. And I was lucky enough later on, once I was in Hollywood Undead, we kind of palled around with Kelly Osbourne and ended up hanging out over at the house. It was I think it was at the end of the Osbourne show. And yeah, the first time I met Ozzy, we were we went and saw Steel Cobra, or I don't know what they were called back then. They were called something else, but it was like this epic hair metal cover band that does all these covers in Hollywood that was really popular back in the day. I think they tour now. But anyway, we were at Iron Cobra, Steel Cobra, whatever they were called, with me and Evan Thomas and Maddie from HU and Skrillex, Sonny Moore, and Kelly and some other people. And something really weird happened. We were at that show and someone started a fight with Sonny Moore, which is crazy because he at the time was probably 18. I don't know how he was getting in the clubs, but he was very young. And someone stuck a cigarette in his face and tried to fight him. And so there was this big brawl with a bunch of us fighting these drunk guys. And security saw that we were with Kelly, and they pulled all of us aside and kept us in the VIP area while everyone left. And so we ended up going out the back into a taxi and going to the Osbournes house from the TV show. And it was really weird, surreal situation going over there because, like, I knew the dogs, I knew where the restroom was. Like, it's kind of funny, strange situation. Oh, Jeffree Star was there too, by the way. Yeah, Maddie, Evan, Jeffree Star, Kelly. Who else was there? So anyway, we and this is like probably 3 a.m. We go over to the Osbournes house, and we're hanging out in. It was kind of like a breakfast nook area off of the kitchen, which is kind of connected to the kitchen, but it had some doors that went outside the backyard. And during this time, this was like a Sidekick 1 era. I don't know if any of you guys know these days. Youngins know what Sidekicks were. They were the best phone in the early 2000s. T-Mobile had them, and they were this phone that would flip this button and it would flip up, and there was a keyboard. It was like one of the first rad phones that came out. You were able to text. I think there was a camera on it, but it was really bad quality. But anyway, so this was very early cell phone days. There wasn't like that many ringtones, but I remember there was one ringtone I had. And we were all hanging out, talking about how crazy it was that we were just in a fight. And in comes Ozzy, barreling through the door. Oh, hi, kids. Do you know if there's any burritos around? Like, he was just looking for some food. Came in, said hi to us. As he's talking to us, my phone goes off. And you HU fans will know this tune. It goes like a literal clip of Crazy Train started playing the moment he walked through the door from my phone. And I immediately, it hit me what was happening because I didn't really put 2 and 2 together so much. That tune from Crazy Train ended up being the tune for Undead, which was my idea because I was a big fan of Ozzy and Saddles and all that shit. So anyway, and I know Hollywood Undead had to pay Ozzy for that song for a long time. Whoops, my bad, guys. But anyway, so I immediately look up. Jeffree Star looks at me. It is all, oh, it was like slow motion. He's all, oh my fucking God. And I remember Maddie jumped up, ran across the room, and pushed the door to the outdoor and just ran outside and collapsed on the ground laughing. I don't know if he heard it, but it was like kind of he was in and out, and I was just like petrified, basically. I mean, obviously, that's very, I don't know, like I'd make fun of myself now, definitely, for doing that if I did that back then. But anyway, so yeah, that was my first time meeting Ozzy. We all are seeing Ozzy. Flash forward maybe a month later, 2005. This was Ozzfest. Kelly got us passes and stuff to Ozzfest, and it was pretty good Ozzfest. Slipknot was playing, so I was backstage smoking weed with Corey from Slipknot, having a great time, and Sharon comes up to me. Yeah, Ozzy met Randy again. Yeah, they're fucking jamming out right now. Hopefully they're jamming with like Lemmy. Oh, that would be so sick. Who else? Bonham, Lemmy, Ozzy, Randy. Holy crap. Dime bag. Like, dude, these guys are having the most sickest jam session right now. Anyway, so Sharon comes up to me and is like, Jeffrey. And I was like, yes, Sharon. Yes, ma'am. Do you need something? And she's like, can you meet me in 10 minutes in my office? And I was like, oh shit. And like everybody at the table is all, what'd you get in trouble for? And I was like, oh shit. So I went and met Sharon, and she had like kind of like a backstage area. And in this backstage area, there was cases of eggs, right? Cases of eggs and cases of Ozzy shirts. And she was like, Jeffrey, do you know about Bruce Dickinson? And I was like, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden? And I was like, no, I don't know anything about him. And she's like, he is a prick. And I was like, oh yeah? And he's all, yeah, he's been we're paying him $150,000 to play this show every night, and he's talking shit about Ozzy. He said Ozzy's, he's like making fun of how bad a shape Ozzy is in. And even at that time, Ozzy wasn't in that bad a shape. It wasn't until later on, I think he crashed a quad or something, and he broke his back, and he got that surgery, and he's been kind of like fucked ever since. But anyway, so Sharon was pissed, obviously. And it's like, at the time, I was like, whoa, that's super fucking dumb to have that gig and to talk shit about the guy. It's Ozzfest, and you're gonna go out on stage and make fun of like he was like making fun of Ozzy's physical shape and how Ozzy needed a teleprompter or something like that. And it's like, man, it's hard remembering all that stuff. So I get it, whatever, no big deal. It's not like he's lip syncing back then or anything. Like, ain't you? But anyway, so she's like, can you get a hold of some of your fans and have them meet us over here in an hour? And I was like, okay, yes, ma'am. Because it's like at the time I was like, oh wow, okay, that's pretty lame. And she was like, I want you to get you and your fans wrapped up in these Ozzy shirts, like put like 10 of these shirts on, and then when Iron Maiden starts playing, I want you to throw eggs at them. And I was just like, okay, Sharon, okay, Miss Osbourne, no problem. So I went on MySpace, and I was like, hey, Sharon Osbourne has a mission for us guys if anybody's at Ozzfest. And so all these Hollywood Undead fans show up to the backstage area at Ozzfest. And I tell them what they're gonna do, and they're like, "Holy crap!" And so we met with some of Sharon's friends. There were these ladies that I guess she knew, and there's probably, I don't know, 15 of us, not that many. And then she walks us out before and introduces us to all the security and tells the security what we're going to be doing and that they need to protect us. And she puts us in the pit in the front area where there's a barrier and then the security, and we were just kind of like sitting with security. And I was sitting there, I was like, oh boy, what am I getting myself into? And so I wasn't like a huge fan of Iron Maiden or anything. And he was being an asshole. And I kind of knew that he was like a lot of people, like the dude's a prick, you know, like he's been well known to be a prick. And I don't know, you just shouldn't fuck with Sharon Osbourne, you know, like in my opinion. So anyway, Iron Maiden starts playing. We start chucking eggs. Bruce Dickinson was in very good shape back then because, man, he dodged every single egg we threw up there. I think most of them hit the drummer's drum set, you know, just kind of made a mess. He didn't hit anyone. But like as that was happening, I get grabbed from behind and I turn around and there's this fucking like biker looking, Hell's Angel looking guy. So what the fuck, man? And goes to punch me, and I duck it, and then security comes and grabs everyone, and then there's this riot. Yeah, and I bail because security, we had full passes and everything, and security just pulled us backstage, and that turned into being a pretty big deal. It was called Egg Fest. That show was redubbed Egg Fest as Ozzfest because the egg thing, and it turned out to be a pretty like in the lore of Ozzy and Ozzfest and the early 2000s metal. You know, it was a big feud that spilled out onto the stage, and I think Sharon pulled the plug out of their microphone a couple times, and then she got on stage after they play, and she was like, "We love Iron Maiden and their crew; they're the best, but Bruce Dickinson's a fucking prick, and he got what he deserved," or something like that. And so the next day, I posted on MySpace, and I was like, "Holy shit! I almost got killed last night. You know, listen to this crazy story." And I tell the story, and immediately all these people start showing up that I don't know in my comments, threatening my life. And I was like, holy crap, this has gotten into be quite a mess. Sup, Jacob, sup, Andre, sup, Ace, sup, Evan, sup, Isaac, Scaredy Cat, how's everybody doing? So Sharon, so Sharon almost got me killed. But very nice lady. Holy crap. One of the nicest ladies I met in that industry. I think a month after that, we had gotten Hollywood Undead gotten their money from Interscope, and I'd bought an M3 BMW, and I think Kelly's birthday came around, and she was going to Vegas, and basically every casino in Vegas. Oh, let's get late. So let's watch a little bit.
Nuts.
Well, we don't drive me nuts anymore.
Everybody drove you nuts. What is it, Richard? How dare you interrupt my interview?
Well, first off, I want to say I'm a huge heavy metal fan, and being in the same room with you, you're like my god.
Richard works for us, and Richard, by the way, is one of the most accomplished heavy metal drummers. He used to be in a band called Iced Earth and stuff, but he quit to come work with me.
And I was wanting to say to Sharon too, she is the best advertisement ever for plastic surgery. I'm watching the monitor back there. She looks like a young Carmen Electra.
Yeah,
I think she could be her own daughter at this point.
Yeah.
I'd bang him.
Thank you.
And I had a quick question. There was a controversy at last year's Ozzfest
Yes.
between you guys and Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Have you talked to like Bruce Dickinson since then,
No,
or did all that get cleared up?
What was the
No.
controversy? I don't know about this crap.
We talked about it.
We
Yeah.
did. What was it? What happened, Sean?
Well, we've known those guys since the 80s, and we offered
See,
them
Ozzy
a
was in
show.
great
They
shape
were
back
getting
then.
paid $185,000 a night. We
Mhm.
treated them everything they
That's the
wanted.
most
They
money
got.
they'd ever made in their careers, I
185,000 a night.
guarantee.
Yeah.
Wow,
They
that's
would
generous.
go on stage, and Bruce Dickinson each night would slag Ozzy.
Yes.
Oh.
Say really disrespectful things about
Ozzy?
About Ozzy, and Ozzy's the schmuck that's paying him. So I'm thinking to myself, let it go on. Just carry on, you little shit.
I have a
Ozzy,
little
did it
problem
bother
with
you that
her
they were
version
saying
of the
this stuff?
I
story.
didn't listen.
didn't listen.
I didn't want to know because I'm getting myself prepped for my show, you know.
I
But
didn't
you're
tell
hearing
him.
him. Oh,
no,
you didn't
I didn't tell him.
Wow.
So on the last
I'm glad you
night,
didn't tell Ozzy.
No.
Thank God you protect him.
So
What does he need that crap
he
for?
doesn't need it. So on the last night in LA, where they think, oh, they're in LA, man, they're cool, they're really cool. I got 200 Hispanic kids.
200
with eggs. They had
Hispanic
peanut
kids?
butter.
Darren,
They
are you
fucking
fibbing?
pelted the shit out of them.
Out of Iron Maiden.
Yes, and then I went on stage and I said, look, don't fuck with us. Don't be disrespectful. Don't fuck with us. This is what you get.
How
Now
do you,
get the fuck off my stage.
I got to applaud you for that. How do you organize that kind of movement to get all these Hispanics together? Where do you go? Do you hire them off
This is where I have a problem with this story.
Of a truck?
She's got a big truck at the San Diego border.
I have
She may have been helping me out here by blaming it on random Hispanics. But she had some friends. She explained here there were some friends we met up of hers that were Hispanic, but there was definitely not 200. And
You got a turtle from fucking San Diego.
I'm gonna tell you something.
But really, to put together, you came up with a plan. You said, let's throw eggs at Iron Maiden. I like the plan.
I must say at this point, it was nothing whatsoever to do with me. I didn't know it was
You had
gonna-
no idea.
No,
I
I
understand.
don't condone that. I think, I said in actual fact, don't put them on the tour, Sharon, because they are fucking trouble. Big time trouble.
He did.
Nobody would
Ooh.
listen to me
How did you know they were trouble?
because I've been around as long as I have.
Right. You know all these guys.
Yeah, and I just.
Why did they have a problem with Ozzy?
Jealous.
That's true.
Jealous.
You got it. I mean, you've done it all.
Jealous. They support the singer of Iron Maiden. If he was to walk in here right now, you wouldn't know
Of
him,
course
would you?
not. No.
And in actual fact, the bass player on that particular gig came to my trailer and he didn't. And he's trying to tell me something like "You'll have to excuse Bruce," and I go, "What the hell are you on about? I don't even know what you're apologizing. I don't even listen to yours." I said, "I'm an old time. I just want to get my fucking show over and go home."
That's right. That pisses them off even more.
Right,
that you
'cause
don't even care.
know.
You don't even know.
No.
How did you organize these Hispanics to get together to throw eggs at Iron
I
Maiden?
had them all backstage. I gave them the cue.
Where do you meet them
Yeah.
to get
They
them?
were back in my office backstage.
No, but
wait a
how did you
second.
gather them? Where did they come from?
Okay, there
Mexico.
was about no, there was
Mexico.
about
There's a website, renthispanics.com.
Yeah, I mean, really,
no,
you have to
no.
pay them. You have to organize
no,
them.
there
It's a
was
big
about
thing.
20 of them who were actually from the hospital that treated me for my cancer that I kept
No,
in touch
there
with.
was
The local
3 or
loony
4.
You got it from the
And they
loony
came-
bin.
I did.
When they got there, overdosed on acid.
Did you meet him that night when you OD'd? Listen to me. Listen to me. You're telling me when you were in the hospital for cancer, you met Hispanics there. You
so many.
many
Which
Hispanics.
I keep in
And you-
touch.
and
That's
you-
where they're hideouts when they come to the tunnel.
No, you don't
turned
understand.
into?
I
They're
had,
like big bales of white powder.
And you're telling me
Oh
you
my
called them
they
up.
always had tickets to come to see Ozzy's show ever since I met them.
You
they
have
were
their
people
numbers in a
who-
Rolodex. You call them and
They
invite them.
call me.
And you
I
called the
call them.
Hispanics, these 25, and said, listen, bring 100 couple of your friends
Yeah.
and bring eggs and let's go.
And also there were some surfers, friends of the kids, loads of young surfers from Malibu that came.
It sounds like a
Surfers from
fucking
Malibu?
Zoom of
What?
The thing is, this is my thing.
What is she
You
talking
wanna
about?
play, play.
Hadn't it gotten out
But
of
you pay.
right?
You pay for it at the end of the
Were
day.
they
I'm a
humiliated
surfer
when
from
they were being
Malibu.
pelted with the eggs?
Humiliated. There's this prick trying to sing "I Take Your Daughter to the Slaughter" with a fucking eggshell in his mouth.
They didn't leave the stage. They continued to play.
Continued to play.
All right.
They were covered.
Yeah, so that's definitely the craziest Osbourne story. I think a little bit after that, me and Evan and Jarrell and Rosie went to Vegas, with Kelly for her birthday, and every casino in Vegas threw a party for her, and we went around. Worse than J Dog being a tall blonde. Shady Jeff is a surfer from Malibu. Exactly. I ain't buying it. So yeah, and that was a pretty crazy trip. Jarrell and Evan ended up wrestling in the middle of the night, and Kelly like called a doctor for him. I don't know. It was nuts. We were toasted. But I had just bought my M3, and so me and Evan were like, let's drive to Vegas. And it was pretty fun times. Paris Hilton was there that night, and like her boyfriend lit their hotel on fire, and like there was just, it was a crazy night. Very nice people. Very nice people. Kelly and Sharon are very nice. Jack is very nice. I've had nothing but good experiences with them, and so yeah, it's a big bummer. End of an era, definitely legendary. Pretty crazy. He just did his show a couple weeks ago. That was very fun to watch. Very cool. It would have been cool to have been at that event in England. They had every band ever practically up there playing together, which was really cool. Pretty epic life that guy had. And yeah, pretty sad. But anyway, I just wanted to pay a little bit of tribute to the GOAT. Metal music possibly wouldn't have happened without Ozzy. It's kind of hard to say something like that, but Sabbath basically started heavy dark music, and I definitely recommend everyone to go listen to some old Black Sabbath. Listen to the lyrics. Geezer Butler, the bass player of Sabbath, is an epic, rad dude. He's vegan, super animal rights guy. He wrote actually most of the lyrics. Super deep, dark, esoteric, occulty stuff. Really cool. Very positive at times. Even Sabbath is so good. Good Lord. They have such a broad range of sound, and super dark, scary stuff to super uplifting stuff. They're definitely one of the best bands of all time. And I highly recommend anyone who isn't into Sabbath getting into it. And Ozzy's stuff afterwards. There's a lot of really good stuff. Ozzy's solo work. My brother in name, what's his name, babe? Zach Wild's actual real name is Philip Jeffries, I think, something like that. But we have very similar names, which is funny. Matthew Jeffries or something. Matthew Philip Jeffries, which is a pretty funny thing. But yeah, Sabbath definitely is the reason and influenced everything that I was involved in, as well as the HU stuff and the image and just the dark emo, like that all. I learned all that from Ozzy and Sabbath and Danzig and like other bands that came after that were all very much bands that became big because of Sabbath. Uh, really, definitely pounding the metal sound into the ground. And there's still, there's a genre called sludge, is it, or doom metal, which is just a bunch of bands that sound like Sabbath, and a bunch of dudes singing like Ozzy. There aren't many like genres of music where everyone is ripping off the same band over and over again. There's really no way of saying how big the influence of Sabbath and Ozzy has been over the years. And I know throughout the 80s or in the 90s and stuff, like all the hair metal stuff fell off, but Ozzy kept going and kept putting music out. He's got a lot of good stuff. What's the song called he did with the girl? It's like a duet. Lita Ford. Oh, that song's so good. But yeah, I will close my eyes forever. Yeah, the Lita Ford duet he did, and that was like crazy metal guy doing a song with a woman that's like a really like rare, or it wasn't what most metal dudes were doing back then. And Ozzy always had the balls to push the envelope, even when he was kind of a mess. But anyway, enough about that. I guess I'll catch you guys later. Crazy Train. Undead, the song Undead would never exist if there wasn't Crazy Train. That is true. So that's even how far, what influenced all the way up to Hollywood Undead. But I'll catch you guys later. R.I.P. Ozzy. Peace.